Good morning, and welcome to your AI Daily Press morning podcast for April 23, 2026. I'm your host, Walter. I'm Walter, your guide through the complex world of artificial intelligence, politics, and human rights. First, let's look at the situation with Iran and the United States. President Trump has announced an extension of the 2-week ceasefire between the two nations, citing the need for more time to allow the fractured Iranian government to submit a unified proposal. Despite intense diplomatic efforts, significant gaps remain between the U.S. and Iranian positions on key issues, such as Iran's stockpile of highly enriched uranium. In other news, we've been following the story of Tesla's CEO, Elon Musk, announcing that certain older Tesla models will no longer receive software updates due to hardware limitations. This decision has sparked concerns among vehicle owners who rely on these systems for enhanced safety features. Lastly, a recent incident involving former U.S. President Donald Trump and an Iranian state news agency has highlighted the challenges of misinformation in the digital age. AI-generated content can blur the lines between fact and fiction, and experts warn that such cases not only fuel disinformation but also risk diminishing the gravity of real human rights violations. These stories underscore the complexities of our increasingly interconnected world, where technology, politics, and human rights intersect in complex ways. At AIDailyPress, we're committed to providing you with balanced insights and analysis to help you make sense of it all. And that's the way it is. Now for the latest in social and cultural news, here is Barbara Waters.
You, Walter, and Nanshul and know what's right now. I'm Barbara. We have several developing stories to bring you up to speed on today. First, the Labour Party in the UK is facing a tumultuous period as elections approach, with speculation surrounding the leadership of Keir Starmer intensifying. Despite efforts to shore up his position, Sir Keir faces growing discontent among MPs and party members. In other news, the U.S. government is considering a potential bailout of Spirit Airlines, which has sparked debate about whether the federal government should intervene to save the airline or let the market dictate the outcome. If Spirit Airlines were to cease operations, it could lead to higher ticket prices across the industry, affecting consumers. And in the Middle East, tensions between Israel and Lebanon have escalated after an Israeli strike killed a journalist, Amal Khalil, in southern Lebanon. The incident has sparked widespread condemnation, with Lebanese Prime Minister Nawaf Salam calling it a war crime. Representatives from Israel and Lebanon are set to hold talks under U.S. auspices today to broker peace. We'll continue to monitor these developing stories and provide updates as more information becomes available. In the meantime, our thoughts are with the families of those affected by the violence in the Middle East and with the people working towards a peaceful resolution. Now for the latest in business and finance, here is Louis Riskweiser.
Thank you, Barbara. Firstly, certificate of deposit rates have seen a decline from their recent peak, but they still offer a stable investment choice for those looking to grow their savings with minimal risk. Online banks are emerging as attractive options due to higher rates and lower operational costs. However, it's crucial for investors to consider personal financial goals, term lengths, and understand the terms of the CD before making a decision. In the oil and gas sector, upstream producers are expected to shine in the fourth quarter, driven by a sharp rise in crude oil prices. However, downstream companies may face profit squeeze due to margin pressure. City gas distribution firms are also expected to report a soft quarter due to LNG supply disruptions and higher spot LNG prices. Lastly, mortgage rates have remained relatively stable despite increasing geopolitical tensions and economic reports. The 30-year fixed rate stands at 6.63% for home purchases, while the 15-year fixed rate has seen a slight dip. Forecasts predict that mortgage rates will likely remain unchanged for most of the year, making it a good time to consider refinancing or seeking professional advice for informed decisions. Now for the latest in science and technology, here is Carl Starman.
Thank you, Louis. Firstly, the Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope is set to launch in September, marking a major milestone in space exploration. This telescope will help us better understand the universe and its many mysteries. In other news, Elon Musk's SpaceX has announced a deal to acquire AI company Cursor, expanding its ambitions into the field of artificial intelligence. This move is part of a broader strategy that includes establishing a human settlement on the moon and launching orbital data centers. Lastly, we're following a story about a series of unexplained disappearances and deaths among scientists in the United States. While some lawmakers are pushing for an investigation into potential foul play, others are urging caution due to the lack of concrete evidence linking these incidents. We'll continue to provide updates and insights on this developing story. Now for the latest in sports, here is Howard Closewell.
Thank you, Carl. First, we're taking a look at the world of baseball, where tradition meets innovation. The New York Yankees are considering a change to their uniform policy, with players requesting the option to wear alternate jerseys, specifically the navy blue batting practice tops, during road games. This move would mark a departure from the team's traditional approach to uniforms and raises questions about the role of player expression and individuality in the game. In other news, the New York Mets have finally snapped their 12-game losing streak with a thrilling win over the Minnesota Twins. However, concerns arise with the injury of star shortstop Francisco Lindor, who exited the game with left calf tightness and will undergo an MRI today to determine the severity of the injury. And in a story that's making waves in the sports community, we're also following the Kansas City Royals' decision to introduce new alternate jerseys, which has sparked a debate about the balance between tradition and innovation in baseball. We'll be keeping a close eye on these developing stories and bringing you updates throughout the day. Now, for the latest in travel and human interest, here is Charles Curl.
Thank you, Howard. Firstly, we took a journey through time and culture with an article about a developing story in ancient history, where we explored the significance of cultural heritage and its impact on our understanding of the world today. Secondly, we reported on a breaking news story from San Antonio, Texas, where 2 home explosions on the same block left 5 people injured. The National Transportation Safety Board is investigating these natural gas-fueled explosions, and we urge everyone to stay safe and take care of each other during this difficult time. Lastly, we reflected on a tragic event in Memphis, Tennessee, where the remains of 3 young children were discovered in a wooded area. The investigation is ongoing, and we encourage anyone with information to come forward as the community comes together to support those affected and seek answers. These stories remind us of the importance of compassion, empathy, and community in our daily lives. We'll continue to follow these stories and provide updates as more information becomes available. Now, for the latest in fashion and entertainment, here is Joan Streams.
Thank you, Charles. First, we have some uplifting news from the music world. BTS has made history on the UK vinyl chart with their latest release, Swim. The K-pop group's album has debuted at number 1, marking a major milestone in their career. But, unfortunately, our second story is much more somber. We're following the disturbing case of singer D4VD, who's been charged with the murder of 15-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez. The allegations against him are truly heinous, and we want to emphasize that everyone deserves a fair trial. However, the details of this case are shocking, and our thoughts are with Celeste's family and loved ones during this incredibly difficult time. We'll be keeping an eye on both of these stories and bringing you updates as more information becomes available. For now, let's take a moment to think about the importance of justice and supporting those affected by tragedy. Now, for the latest in nature and environment, here is David Atanacher.
Thank you, Joan. Firstly, we looked at the issue of pollution in wastewater and its unexpected effects on wildlife. Researchers found that cocaine metabolites in waterways can alter the behavior of fish, causing them to swim farther and disperse over wider areas. This discovery has significant implications for our understanding of how human-made substances impact ecosystems. Secondly, we discussed a remarkable find in marine biology, a rare, split-colored lobster discovered off the coast of Cape Cod. This incredible crustacean is not only a testament to genetic diversity, but also a reminder of the importance of conservation and protecting our ocean's diverse wildlife. Lastly, we touched on the topic of environmental education and the role that institutions like the Woods Hole Science Aquarium play in promoting awareness and appreciation for marine life. The aquarium will be caring for the split-colored lobster and providing visitors with a unique opportunity to learn about this fascinating creature up close. These stories serve as poignant reminders of our interconnectedness with the environment and the need for continued research, conservation, and education efforts to mitigate the unintended consequences of human activities on the natural world. And that completes our morning podcast for today. Thank you for listening. Until this evening, I'm David Atanachir for AI Daily Press, the world's most unbiased news source.